welcome back to the channel. Now this is actually section 4 of the After Effects fundamentals. Now we're actually exploring the timeline and talking about everything to do with it. So without any further ado, let's get right into the tutorial. Hi everyone. Now this is literally going to be the last segment of our After Effects fundamentals. So I realized I needed to make like a separate tutorial about this because of how important actually it is. So seeing that most of you guys, if I tell you you're literally dealing with the After Effects interface, you're literally going to explore this, and you need to know the nitty-gritties of what each and every element literally means in the After Effects timeline, anyway, I'm going to be previewing to us. Now I have like 3 shapes. I think we created these shapes like in the last kind of tutorial. So I want to make this as fast as possible, yet as detailed as it can be. So the first one, we are going to, let me just show us how to rename. Now, if you want to rename a layer, this one I made it like red 2 by default. So if I tell you want to rename it, actually all you have to do is to click on the layer and press enter. Now if you press enter, you can actually change it to any name that you want. Now I'm going to call this blue because it's actually blue, right? So anyway, I've changed it to blue. So I'm going to start with this. Now this is literally for previewing layers. So if you can preview, you can toggle it on and off, right? So I can literally toggle red on and off and all kind of stuff. So it's literally for layer visibility. If you toggle it off, it's still actually part of the layers, but it's not just being seen, right? The next one is to do with the volume here, audio, right? So these are literally shaped layers, so they don't have any sort of audio. But if you actually put in a project that has audio, this will be enabled, and you can literally toggle on and off the audio as much as you like. If at all you have like a footage or some sort of audio clip or anything that literally contains audio in it. The next one is literally soloing. It's for soloing layers, so it's literally solo. It's called solo, right? So I can literally solo only red, and instead of toggling off, imagine actually have like lots of layers in here, like mob layers. You can just solo the layer that you actually want to only see. So I can solo this on and off. I can literally just solo the blue on and off and all that kind of stuff, and it actually works well. So the next one is actually locking. So I can literally lock any layer. So I've actually locked blue. So if I'm literally transforming all these layers or moving them around and all that kind of stuff, I can't do that to the blue one because I've locked it, right? So that's what actually the lock function actually does. So you can lock any layer that you want. If I lock blue, if I lock red, I cannot move any transformation. I can only move blue and green, because for them they're not literally locked. So yeah. The next one actually is layer. It's literally layer colors. So for example, green, I literally made it green because it's actually green, and red, I can literally change it to something like orange, but I'll put it back to red because it's actually red. So the blue one, I'm going to change it from blue. As you can see here literally the previews. So I'm going to unlock it and then change it to something like this is blue, so I'm going to change it to something like blue. Okay, yeah. So that's literally for coloring layers. Now this is literally for just organization purposes. So this is where you actually select the layers from, but you can actually select them from anywhere. You can literally use this for selecting layers and all that kind of stuff. The next one are literally blend mode. So the reason that's why I'm using red, blue, and green to just demonstrate what blend modes actually are. But no, I'll make separate tutorial about blend modes. I can't literally talk about how to do the blend modes. So I'm just want to show us like what it does and all that kind of stuff. If I tell you a newbie, but if I tell you we dealt with programs like Photoshop or Illustrator or any design platform, it literally has blend modes, and you already know about blend modes, like what they do, what lighting, what screen does, and all that kind of stuff. So as you can see, let me just change it to something like screen. As you can see, like blend modes are literally working. So that's literally for dealing with blend modes. You can change to different kind of blend modes. Now this is not about blend modes, but this is where you find the blend modes, right? So the next one is literally what we call track mates. So I can literally, now I have to make separate tutorial about what track mates are, but let me just make some sort of an overview, right? Let me create some sort of a text. I'm going to call it mods. Let me call it track. Track. How does track sound? I think it sounds cool, doesn't it? So I'm going to spell it up a bit, right? So it's actually on top of the layer, so I can be like, I want to rename this as a track mate and see what appears. I'd see what literally happens, not what appears. Okay, it appears, but I wanted to use the word happens. Let me scale it up a bit. So since I've literally made it some sort of a track mate, this is what it actually means. It means I want this layer, now apparently this layer that we're talking about is a text layer that is having the word track to only appear where these shapes literally are, or where the elements in the you know, where everything like underneath is. So if we add like more shapes, let me create some sort of a circle in here. Like if I add like any sort of a shape, as you can see, it's actually beneath whatever shape that's actually beneath. It literally appears like in there, and I just scale this one a bit up. As you can see, it's also appearing in the circle. So that's what this kind of a track mate is. It's like whatever kind of a thing that's below it. Now, if I try and literally put this blue layer like above it, it won't appear in there because it only appears like the stuff that are beneath. So I'm going to get rid of this ellipse because I don't like it. Actually, let me just say Ctrl Z. So that's what literally track mate adds. I'm just going to disable it. And the next one is the picker whip. It's called a pick whip for track mates. So I can be like, instead of appearing in all the layers, I want my track text layer to only appear in blue. So I can literally just choose that, and the blue literally disappears. This time it actually disappears, like there's a massive difference, like it disappears and only the text literally appears in there. So applies to, you know, I can be like, I want it to appear in red, so it only appears in there. Like for now it doesn't literally appear like in all and other kind of stuff. So I've chosen, as you can see, this is literally the active one where the shape is literally appearing all, you know. So that's to do with track mates, but I think I'm going to make some sort of a separate tutorial about what track mates are and how to use them, but they can be literally very advantageous. I don't want this tutorial to be so long, so I'm just going to remove track mates and put back my shaped layers and probably get rid of the text for now. So the next one, all those are literally to do with the track mates. The next one is literally for it's called let me just preview here the name. It's called the shine. I just forgot the stuff. This is for shine layers. Now, what do we mean by shine layers? Shine layers, let me say probably you have like 100 layers and you don't want, like most of them you really put them in motion, or you're not literally going to put them in motion, so you're not going to use them, so but they're literally filling up your composition preview. So what happens is that you can shade them off, and now like I've shade off blue and red, like they're still part of the composition, but if I enable this shade tool here, as you can see, they literally disappear off the timeline, right? So this can literally be like something like, you know, some cool stuff. I can literally lock them, and I've only shade blue and red, so I can literally lock red and blue, and then, you know, shade them, and you know what happens is that I cannot even touch them or other kind of stuff, and then even my composition is a bit tidy. So that's what the shade tool actually does, you know. So the next one, these next two ones, I'll talk about them if at all we are literally dealing with elements from Illustrator, which are literally vector stuff. It's literally for rasterizing vector stuff. So apparently when I talk about them, you may not understand them except if I'm literally demonstrating them. So I won't talk about them. So this one, effects, it only shows like the effects applied to a layer. So let me apply probably an effect like fill. Now I'm actually using a plugin by a gentleman, a plugin by Video Copilot, right? I'll talk about it in some other video or tutorial and how to use it. So it's literally handy. So I'm just going to, I've applied like a fill effect. So as you can see, this literally shows the effects is literally enabled. It's not grayed out. I can literally turn off the effect and put it on. It doesn't matter, like whatever kind of effect. Let me also apply something like you know, fast box blur. I love fast box blur, you know. And let me just apply it to this visible. You know, I can literally turn all the effects off and on, right? Here I can literally solo whatever kind of effect that I want to turn off and on. I can turn off that one, and then, you know. So yeah, that's what the effects actually does. So let me just turn this off. The next one is literally blur, you know, motion blur. for example, if at all I'm having, let me just solo this layer. So I'm literally showing you how to apply all these. And then apply some sort of a position. I'm going to, have it moved within a few seconds here. So that's how it moves. So right now I'm just going to make the timeline to be moving like that, as you can see. Now if I enable, apparently if I disable like motion blur, as you can see, that's how it actually does. It actually moves like previews, all that kind of stuff. So if I enable motion blur, as you can see, there's some sort of like motion blur on, motion blur off, and on. So this is literally for enabling like motion blur on the layer and then disabling it. Now if you literally enable motion blur like while you're working, the preview is a bit slowed down, right? But I literally encourage you to be enabled like at the end of the tutorial, at the end of the video that you're actually working on, and just apply it. It actually makes stuff to look a bit realistic and all that kind of stuff. But all you're not dealing like with robotic stuff. So I'm just going to delete these keyframes. Re-expand my timeline and put back my layers and solo these. So yeah, okay, so let me just hide my text. Okay, the next one is actually turning a layer into an adjustment layer. Now I think I talked about an adjustment layer, haven't I? No, in this tutorial I literally haven't yet talked about it. So this is literally how an adjustment layer works. So if I told there's a way on how to create an adjustment layer, and the shortcut is Alt Control Alt Y, and then I've created an adjustment layer, right? Or I can right click and come to new and be like adjustment layer, right? So whatever kind of way that you want to use. I normally love to use shortcuts. Now, for example, if I try to apply first box blur, right? It literally applies like the adjustment layer literally affects every layer that's literally underneath it. So the first box blur that I've applied, as you can see, it's literally appearing on all the shapes that are literally beneath it, right? So I can literally change this layer, which is the blue one, to an adjustment layer. So let me just enable the first box blur apparently, and I can literally turn it into an adjustment layer, and it's literally affecting everything that's literally beneath it. Let me just make it a bit big. As you can see, it's creating the same effect like what our adjustment layer was, creating, because it's literally an adjustment layer apparently, right? So yeah, that's what you can literally toggle it on and off. As you can see, if I toggle it off, it shows like the layer blue having the effect on it. So that's what it actually does. The next one, let me just hide this. The next one is literally for turning any layer into a 3D. So if at all I want to turn this layer into a 3D, apparently I've already turned it into a 3D, and as I showed you guys, I can literally pan it around because it's now a 3D layer. So that's what this literally does. This is called a pick whip, and I can parent in something called parenting. I think I'll make a separate tutorial about it and what literally parenting means and does. So I can literally parent the layer, the blue layer, to probably the green one. And what happens is that green one becomes literally the parent of the red one. So as it literally happens in normal life, where the parent goes, of course the child normally goes. If at all literally parent is, moves to UK, the child literally has to go there. So let's make the parent to move around. So we're going to move, the green, as you can see, the red is actually moving with it. Yet actually the child has a freedom to actually move around the way they want without the parent. So the child can actually move without the parent, but the parent cannot move without the child. So that's what parenting is, in a brief. And that, my friends, is all to do with the timeline and how all these literally work. So if I don't got any question, you can literally comment it you can literally write it in the comment section. Yeah, but literally that's it with this section. So I'm very glad I've actually done all these sections like differently, and so that you can literally follow along. So the next one, we shall be literally exploring what keyframes are in the next tutorial, what keyframes literally are, and we shall talk about, I think I'll make some sort of a separate tutorials about what trackmates are, parenting is, and all that kind of stuff, like to explore them like in details. yeah, see you guys in the next tutorial. I'm so glad that I actually made it to this point. Thank you very much.